It is time for Appraise This with Tim Luke and Greg Strom, the freaking frack of Nick and Knack. You'll find them at tqag.com. But it looks like we might only have the silver chefs this morning. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning. Yes. Alas, Tim is in a different time zone. He's in Palm Springs until Wednesday. He's finishing up the appraisal that both he and I went out to work on in San Francisco about 2 weeks ago. This is the continuation, and they're finishing the property in Palm Springs today, or until Wednesday. So yes, I am indeed here by myself, but not really alone because I'm on puppy duty while all by myself this week. So it's quite an adventure, let me tell you.
I was going to say that's not the, well. Somebody's got to go out in the wintertime to Palm Springs. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
I know that. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
Well, you just got to remember, there's a lot of people that hate you because you're in Florida. It's that old
Well,
the food chain.
That's true.
The food
That
chain
is true.
thing. Oh well. Anyway, so what topics would you like to tackle this morning?
Well, I would like to speak about something that I'm doing here, an appraisal that, not an appraisal, but a project that I'm working on here that's an estate project. And in starting this project, I've realized that the markets, as we've talked about in the past, have changed over the past 5 or 10 years. And I've really noticed in the area of estate sales and doing tag sales, that market has really changed as well. And a number of the antique dealers who we used to rely on to recommend to our clients for sales and for purchasing estates, they're either out of business or they've gone to strictly online sales. And I'm really in a quandary because I have this estate that has some very nice things in it. And the items are not of such a quality that our auction partners in some of the upper auction houses, upper level auction houses, are interested. So I've gone to the next layer, which we always were able to count on, and it's becoming more difficult to find people who are buying outright now and who are actually doing tag sales or estate sales. So it's becoming not an issue, I wouldn't say, but it is becoming more of a challenge to help our clients liquidate family estates. So I'm working on this estate now that the parents, the final parent passed away about 6 months ago, and they live out of state, the heirs, as is wont to happen here in Florida, and they're finding it difficult to find an outlet for these things. So that's what I'm working on this week, and it's and really nice things too, things that we've talked about in the past. Really nice 19th century American furniture, and I'm not talking Victorian. I'm talking Federal style furniture. I'm talking Sheraton style furniture. We have a couple of 18th century blanket chests, and to send one or two items to auction to Chicago, where one of the outlets that we send, it's too prohibitive cost wise, so it would not benefit the client to send these items to auction because they would end up having to pay to sell them rather than receive the benefits of the proceeds. So that's one of the things that I'm starting to discover, and we've talked about this in the past. And although online auction sales they seem to be the air quotes wave of the future, and are doing quite well, and we have used them for some of our clients. I'm discovering there's a place in limbo for a certain level of estates that we're running across, and that's a quandary that I have to figure out how to fix. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Up here, I know the Arnost moving and storage company, and they sometimes it's when they when somebody passes away and they're brought in to move contents of entire houses. Okay, sometimes the family just sells the contents to them so they can auction it off. I don't know, because they have a shop that carries antiques and furniture and things like that. But I think more and more people are being prepared. I know when my brother and I, Mark and I, when my mother, when she was 72, 10 years before she passed, she had signed the house over to him. I would be the power of attorney in Connecticut. If she were in Connecticut, he would be the power of attorney if something happened to her when she was in New Jersey visiting him. We had all those things worked out literally 5 to 10 years in advance. That's all part of the process too, isn't it? When somebody passes away and you have estates like this?
It is. And this is one of the things that we have started to recommend to people, is that you must get this stuff done in advance. I mean, we've talked about having power of attorney, about having your estate in order in advance while you're alive, so that at the end it will be taken care of. But now with the markets the way they are, I really believe it's even more important to make sure that you find a way to deal with this if you are planning upon your death, because I really have compassion for this particular family, because it's been quite a struggle for them, and I wish they would have contacted us sooner, because like you were saying about this company that's up where you are, there are several places down here who do similar things, where the moving company has a subsidiary, I guess you would say, where they can just outright buy, and then they have the wherewithal to store it until they can find a place to liquidate it. So that's kind of now becoming our go-to. And it's a bit of an adjustment, because you have to really source out a reputable company, a moving company in particular, that has this service. And what we've discovered, not unlike yourself, is the best way to source somebody out is to get a personal reference from somebody, one or two people who have used them in the past, because you are able to speak directly to the horse's mouth, as it were, as to how honest they are, how their reputation is, what they can do. And so that's it's kind of a new wrinkle for us. We've always counted on our auction partners, and we've always and on our antique dealer friends who have businesses who would come to our estate sales, and that seems to be drying up somewhat. And I don't say that it's a bad thing, but it does cause some challenges when you're trying to liquidate an estate in short order. Time is really the one thing that is good to have if you're in an estate situation. we get a lot of or a number of clients who call us 2 weeks before they have to be out of the house is up for sale, and there's not a whole lot you can do. So I think the only advice that I would give people is, call an appraiser or call a liquidator prior, more than 2 weeks before the house goes on sale, so that because there is a search process that has to go on. And I really recommend having all of this taken care of in advance, so that all you have to do is pick up the phone when the time comes.
All right, now in the remaining couple of minutes, let's talk a little bit about your Silver Chef.
Oh, yes, thank you. I've been so preoccupied with this estate this week that I almost forgot about it. But I did post the second episode of Perfectly Seasoned on my page, thesilverchef.net. And it's also on my Facebook page, The Silver Chef. And this week's episode deals with condiments and their shelf life. How long can you really keep those pesky little things in the refrigerator? And what can you do with them so you don't waste them? So it's an interesting podcast this week. And next week I'm really excited because we're speaking to Johnny Van Korn, who's a local artisan bread baker here. And he's 23 or 24 years old, and he started a business very like just maybe a year ago, and it has gone gangbusters. Artisan bread is one of the hot and upcoming things. People love good bread, and so he does a really brisk business with a lot of the restaurants in the area, and he does the outdoor markets on the weekend. So he's really in the trenches, and I was really excited to be able to have him as a guest. So this week it's about condiments, and next week it's about artisan breads.
And you're really getting into it, aren't you?
I am, and in short order, I'm actually going to be doing my first video podcast.
There you go.
So that's going to be an interesting thing. I have to tell you, Marshall, I have you to thank. You really have been a big help. I really appreciate everything that you've helped me with.
I haven't done much, but I knew that once you got into it, you would overcome any technical problems that you might have. Just because you're a lot like me, you just do it until you do it.
Well, the interesting thing for me is as you know, I am not a geek. I just do not understand technology like I should. So my new best friend has been YouTube. Yeah. And it's amazing what you can learn on YouTube. The thing is, you have, just like anything else in life, you have to sort through. You have to sort through a lot of stuff before sometimes you find the right fit. And it's the same way on YouTube videos. And so I feel like by the time, the joke has been that, I'm learning how to speak Geekanese fluently, except I still have a very heavy accent. So.
All right, Greg. Well, once again, not only at tqag.com, but also thesilverchef.net. Give our best to Tim, and we'll speak to you guys next week.
Hey, will do. Check out the podcast.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Tim Luke and Greg Strom, the appraisal guys, the frickin' frack of Nick and Knack with Appraise This.